Okay, heute, sorry, German, English. Today we're going further with the kind of triangle series in the stand-up situation. Part one goes into flying triangles, well, falling triangles as I prefer to call it, and sort of a seated triangle, and then a sumigaishi variation. If you want to see those, look at the video, the last video, links in the description below. This time we're going further with the idea. It's always this idea, we do something, he counters, we counter, he counters, and so forth and so on. So with this one, the idea is it's the exact same setup as before. I'm in my overhook with the collar tie. I want to do my flying triangle. So he brings his arm out to frame. So I bring it back and I want to do my seated triangle or the sumigaishi. He doesn't like that, so he rights his posture and stands back up. From here, I'm very close now. So basically I fall to my knees and grab both his knees and grab my own hands. Nice solid link. And important, I don't pull with my arms, I just block and I push with my head. And he will go down. It's just a simple double under, but a very elaborate setup because I don't normally blast into a double leg personally. I'm old, I'm not fast enough to be quite frank. So I normally like to do a double leg in a chain of other things, kind of sneaking it in when he's countering something else I'm doing. Which is the whole idea here. I grab my underhook, I want to do my flying triangle. He sees it coming and pulls out his arm and frames. I don't like that, so I pull it out and want to do either the sumigaishi or the seated triangle, and he knows this is coming too, so he comes back up. And I go back down and do my double leg. My hidden double leg in the progression. Okay? It's a pretty simple way to do the double leg, I think, and if you can grab it like that, he's going down. He's in upright posture, you've got a solid grip on his knees, you've got a solid lever with your head. He's going down pretty quickly, okay? Now we're going to the next part where the problem I have with a double leg is normally opponent sees it coming, and what do we do when he sees it coming? So, next step. Okay, so again, idea here, he sees my double leg coming and does what everyone who's been in Jiu-Jitsu or wrestling for about a week and a half does, is he sprawls immediately and gets his weight nice and on my back. So, again, idea, I start from my flying triangle setup, I get in the plant, he frames, pull it off, and he comes up, I go low, and now he came out. Now he's got his weight nice and heavy on me. The only thing keeping me off the ground is my arms. But the good thing is up here, he doesn't have a lot of support now. He's relying on me for his support. So I snag an arm at the elbow to take away the post, bring my head out to the other side, step, and with my foot I push it in the direction of the post I took over, and then frame here on his hips to keep him from rolling out. From here, I can just go into a side control, and I've got my takedown. It looks really simple, but I land this a lot, to be quite frank. A lot of people, honestly, for some reason, don't see this coming, and the good thing is that when they're sprawling, they get a lot of momentum behind it, and they're so focused on the sprawling, they're not thinking about the fact that I can grab their post and flip them over. I do this a lot in live sparring with not just white belts, I've landed this on brown belts before, so this is something that catches a lot of people by surprise. So Yeah, I've kind of basically modified a judo technique for this. I think it would be the judo version of the fireman's carry, where they just kind of go in like this, but I'm doing it in a sort of inverted fashion. So, one more time, just so you can see it. So, we're in our triangle setup. I want to triangle him. He sees it coming. I try it, and he gets down. He sees this coming. And then again, I snag an elbow, sit out, and I push with this leg in the direction of the post, block his hips, and roll over into side control. And from here, I just go to my normal ground game. So, and that's basically another step. Now we get to the final step, which is where we kind of tie everything back together and do what I call closing the circle. So now the very last step, and then that's everything for the flying triangle progression. Then we go to reverse triangle next week. Okay, so basically everything in the chain here, the whole idea is that it is a circle. So the one leads to the other, which leads to the other, which leads to the other, which leads you back to the beginning. So I started my flying triangle setup, make him come down, same as before. He comes up, I go down, he sprawls, he sees this coming again, now he gets back up. And I follow him, and from here, I snag a collar tie, I go to my overhook, and now I'm right back at the beginning of the chain where I started. I again pull him down, and now I have my flying triangle, and he comes here. And that's the whole idea to this chain. So that you can constantly put this person into a loop, so that he's always responding to your next attack, or his attack is giving you your next attack, and you can just keep going in the circle again and again and again until you eventually land one of your takedowns. That's why I call this closing the circle. Your whole takedown progression, the idea is that you're putting him in a circle and making him always go where you want him to be, so that eventually you hit the takedown you want to hit. So, I'll show that whole thing one more time, and then we're done. It's a short one today. Happy birthday. Okay, so again, I start off with my flying triangle setup. He sees it coming, pulls his arm up, same as before. I try to go for either flying sitting triangle or swimming Aichi. He again sees it coming. I go down, I try to see that coming. I get his arm, he sees this coming. I come back up with him, and now I'm back in my setup for the flying triangle, and just go through the whole thing again. And that's the basic progression for the standard front triangle in the standing position. So now we've got, in the first 4 videos of the series, okay, now I think it's like the first 7 or 8, these got a lot longer than I was planning. The standard triangle and the mechanics, and its escapes. Then we have the triangle from the bottom position, including sweeps. We have and also positional escapes. We have the standard triangle in the top position, including how to pass and pin. And then we have the triangle now in the standing position, and you have basically all 4 levels of Jiu-Jitsu, just the front triangle. And now we're going with the whole idea of triangles again in the class notes in the next probably 8 videos. And we're going to the reverse triangle. The reverse triangle for me, because there's a lot of different vocabulary here, when I say the reverse triangle, I am referring to this version of the triangle, where I have my legs reversed. So I do not refer to this as the inverted triangle. None of them are wrong. I just like to keep the terms separate because otherwise it's really confusing. So next week we start with the reverse triangle, and we're going through the same 4 categories again. First video will be triangle mechanics and escapes. Then we go to the bottom position, then we go to top position, then we go to standing position. And we run through the entire gauntlet again. So, see you next week. Have a nice weekend. We want to get a shower. We've been training for about an hour and a half. Bye.
Yeah. Just a little end plate here. I realized after getting all of this cut together that I forgot to put the sparring exercises at the end. So this is now going to be a 3-parter. I was so happy I kept it short, was almost under 10 minutes, and now it's going to be a 3-part video. But on the bright side, you get 2 videos next week instead of just the one, so there's that. Anyway, that's just the little bit I wanted to add here.